Hello cinema lovers, this is Alex and Regina from Vienna, and we have the pleasure of introducing a film program we put together on the occasion of Amos Vogel's centenary this year.
We hope you will forgive us for not doing one of those fake spontaneous Zoom presentations where our eyes move further away from the camera the longer we speak. Instead, we have prepared a little text that we will very obviously read to you.
It is a nice coincidence that just a few days before we are recording this message, Martin Scorsese lovingly recalled Amos Vogel in his essay for Harper's Magazine. Referring to his pioneering work as a curator, teacher, and film cultural agent, Scorsese reminds us that there is nothing elitist about this sort of work, but that it's based on generosity, and that Amos's approach of sharing what had inspired him also often included acts of bravery.
Amos came to New York as a 17-year-old exile. He had fled from Vienna, his hometown, after the Nazi takeover in 1938. 9 years later, together with his wife Marcia, he founded the film society Cinema 16, which quickly became one of the most influential centers of film culture in North America. It promoted a non-industrial and non-conformist view of cinema and linked it to larger social and cultural debates. Among many other things, Amos was also the co-founder and co-director of the New York Film Festival and the author of Film as a Subversive Art, one of the essential film books of all time. He was 72 when we first met him. We were 29, and his curiosity, his respect for new developments in art and cinema, his interest in the smallest details of current politics and of history showed us a man for whom retirement was out of the question. He began at that time, for instance, to engage intensely with the work of his fellow Austrians Michael Haneke and Martin Arnold, and he helped me in reissuing the German edition of his book. He even wrote a new foreword, which was full of subversive subjects for further research.
We want to thank Garbin Ortega for giving us the opportunity to pay tribute to this man by putting together 6 programs in his memory. We also want to thank her and the wonderful festival team for bravely staging Punto de Vista under these exceptional circumstances. In our selections, we tried to avoid a very scholarly or systematic approach. Most of all, we wanted to honor Amos's spirit of programming and his kind of thinking, the ideas that were important to him, in cinema and elsewhere. So we didn't only select films that he himself had shown, loved, and written about. We also tried to apply his legacy of open-heartedness and open-mindedness to works which came later, or were unknown to him. We looked for films that we would have loved to discuss with Amos, joyfully awaiting the moments of dissent.
Film culture today is a very different beast than it was during the life and times of Amos Vogel. There is both more and less of it than there was 70 or 40 years ago. What used to count as rare or inaccessible or taboo now appears to be super accessible and unconstrained. But in fact, many taboos are still with us, and there are some new ones too. Amos, a true citoyen, would continue to have a ball engaging with films that are called irritating or problematic or divisive. Films that are not already, algorithmically or ideologically, formatted to the assumed tastes and preconceptions of the other citoyens in the room. Amos was fearless, and he knew about the ambiguous constellations of power, enlightenment, and pain, his own and that of others. You would expect no less from a man who, early in his life, had to come to terms with losing his homeland his mother's tongue, and several of his relatives in the Holocaust, and who had to come to terms with the fact that his happiest day, when he married the love of his life, was also the day when the first nuclear bomb was dropped on Hiroshima.
We hope you will be inspired by the films in this program. Here's to Amos and Marcia Vogel.
To Amos and Marcia.
And to all of you out there, please stay safe and stay sane.